Who loves you, baby? Hello, Tom.
Hey, Dana, what is happening?
I'm all right. Another drizzly, foggy, gray day here. Of
It
course, on the weekends.
it is gross out, and it decided to hit peak grossness when I was in the middle of trying to like move some stuff in and out of storage.
Yep.
That was the ideal time to open up the heavens.
Of course it was. Hey, thanks for joining us, Tom and loyal listeners, on another episode of Two Guys Talking Toys. You know why I like doing this? I think I like to watch the evolution of my beard, and then it gets shaved off and then it grows back.
Starts all over again.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with your hair.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, oh, it's getting to the point where the headphones leave an indentation after we get done recording. Like, oh, I should probably take it down a notch. Or when once the cold weather starts getting a little bit colder, it just stays. It's got to grow out.
Yeah. Let it go, man. Just let it go. Did you get anything? Go ahead.
Eventually, it'll just get lost, and it'll just be hair with the headphones sticking out of the sides.
Or your headphones will be like this.
Like, do you need new headphones? Nah, I need a haircut.
No. Nope. Hey, did you get anything new?
I did, and the tradition continues because
Yes!
this is me. I feel like at some point someone's gonna jump on just to say there's no way he's doing that every single week. He's just wrapping those in new he's going out and buying packaging stuff and just wrapping it in packaging just to pretend that he's getting new stuff every single week. Well, I get stuff every single week and I never remember what it is because we still haven't really gotten past that point of pre-orders versus it something being solicited and then it just being available. So right. I have a steady stream of pre-orders that just appear, like those what did I get last week? Range Vipers?
Yes.
I have heard from or heard other people on other shows talk about how they received Range Vipers and they're like, what? So I'm glad I'm not the only one. Probably I'm not the only person who ordered these. I don't even remember when, and then they just appeared. So hey, look who I got! Shiver Me Timbers.
Sailor. I like him. I like Shipwreck. He was one of my favorites when I was a kid. Because he had a parrot.
Yes, I remember Shipwreck. I don't remember a lot about the actual character, but I guess the character really just is. He's a sailor man.
Yeah, and he was swarmy. Like he in the cartoon, they met him hanging out in a bar. They were like I forget who it was, Flint and someone else were sort of somehow in the Cobra base and went into like a Cobra bar, and he was hanging out much like Han Solo in the Creature Cantina, and they charted him to get them out of there and get him home. It was very similar to that scene where Ben and Luke get Han to take them, and he had this cool like little sail skiff that went across the sand. They were in the desert, and he was taking them across the sand. But he had that. He was very smarmy kind of guy.
So Shipwreck was not there from like day one. They acquired him along the way, like in an RPG.
Yeah.
They're like, if only we had someone who was really good at sailing. In sand, you said?
Yeah, it was like a skiff. Like the sail went up and it blew him across the sand.
That's hilarious.
Like wakeboarding. Yeah, it was cool.
He's a desert sailor. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Team him up with Dusty.
And I love how he had the old school like bell bottom look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like...
yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a cool character.
That is neat. So I'm happy to have me a Shipwreck. I don't know what I'm going to do with him or where he's going to go because he's I don't really display my Joes. Sorry, Shipwreck.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
So what have you found? If you've got anything new?
Yeah, I got a couple of things new, but what I really wanted to show off is because I finally broke down. After how long have I been saying I didn't want to buy the Muppets because I'm gonna fall down this whole road.
Did
Yeah,
you trip and fall down the Muppet hole?
I did. Diamond Select made like a smaller ones,
Mhm.
and of course I got Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker.
Oh, those look great.
Don't they though?
Oh, they're so good.
I love this thing. Like, he just kind of he's very well articulated. I love that he has just like the Muppet. He's got no eyeballs. He's just got his glasses there.
because there's so much potential for that design to be interpreted badly. And when a company
Yes.
does a good job with them and they look real, it's to the point where, like on Honeydew, it looks like the texture of the actual puppet itself, which is
Yes.
a really cool detail. So they could have just done them smooth.
And look at the pens. He has the pens in the pocket.
Ah, that's so good.
Yeah, and
That's
you
such a
can't
good
really see
job.
the detail of the shirt, but like
Mhm.
Beaker's shirt is like a green gingham, just like they could have done a solid color, but they
Yeah.
didn't. And the sleeves where they are longer than the coat, just like the Muppet. Fantastic detail on these guys. The plaid pants,
Yeah. Ah, that is so
just
well
great.
done.
They're just so well done.
And they're articulated,
Yeah,
which
they've
blows
got
my
the
mind. You could
head,
have
shoulders, elbows, wrists, ankles, knees, the whole 9 yards. They're fantastic.
see, this is kind of what I hope Super 7 does with Sesame Street, because they're starting to put out Sesame Street characters and they've got like the giant count. And they look great, but I really, really hope that they go this route and give us
Yeah.
some fully articulated, like make Super there is a giant Super Grover they're making, or a giant Grover they're making, but people want an articulated Super Grover.
Yeah,
I
and
kind of hope that happens.
I tell you what made me get these. I ordered the Fraggle Rock.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I can't not have Fraggle Rock. And I hope they go like they made all the characters, they made the Doozers.
And that's boss
They
fight,
made
right?
yeah, they
Okay.
made Sprocket, Uncle Traveling Matt, but I want them to make the trash heap. Like I hope they make the trash heap.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tackle the trash heap,
Yeah.
because you can't have a fully complete cast without it.
Right. Absolutely.
Now, do they? I wonder if they're going to make little structures so you can make the Doozer towers for
Oh,
the
there
Fraggles
are
to come and
things
ruin.
I'm sure that we could find something. The difficult part would be they have to be transparent, like
Yeah.
they were, and edible. They have to be edible as well. I mean, I can always make rock candy, right, and just shape it like
That's
that.
true. Just some chewable some chewable sugar glass. That'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I don't
You know what
know
else I found, which was interesting in Target? I sent you a picture of it, but I wanted to show because I have the Fury planet right here, and I want to find a different place to display them down
Mhm.
here. And I found for Halloween they've got these
Oh yeah, yeah.
stumps, and these things are great, and they're like $5. They're
Oh,
light,
that's not bad at all.
they're hollow, but they're great displays for like Swamp Thing or Man Thing or like these kind of critters.
Mhm.
They're fantastic. I love them.
Or your Fraggles.
Yes, Fraggles.
Those are pretty good. It is kind of amazing that the random display things that you find in Target. I remember when spring was happening and they were putting out all the all the potting stuff and all the fake plant stuff. There was a really cool looking display, but it was almost like these rounded tiers, and they were meant to display like little potted plants, but they were ideal for showing off an action figure, especially if you had I don't think it was large enough to do like a full cabal of characters, but enough. It was enough where you could move it to the back and have them stand up a little above the eye line so they could be on display.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, put your man thing on that, or the battle toad. One of those.
Don't fall, Mr. T. All right, here we go.
King of the forest.
King
the battle toad.
Yeah,
I like that he's even gesturing. Like he's making a decree.
Yeah, he does look like he's either ready to do a Michigan J Bullfrog and start singing, which he does look like Michigan J Bullfrog.
He kind of does.
He looks, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. He must be his manager. Yeah, so that's great. I love that thing.
Fantastic. So, I want to get into today's topic,
Yes.
and
What is it?
I have become terrible at figuring out segues into said topics. But remember Imaginext.
Yes. I love Imaginext.
And
Yes, Tom. Yes.
I don't know why I said remember Imaginext, because they're not gone. They're still around. They still exist. They're all over the toy shelves. Yes,
Here's Swamp Thing. Oh,
good
wait.
old Imaginext Swamp Thing. King of the swamp jungle.
There it is.
King
I love it.
Swamp
I'm gonna get
Thing.
more. I'm gonna get more. Hold on. I have more. Talk amongst yourselves.
Here we go. So, listeners, while Dana is acquiring more swamp-based creatures and items, I would just like to thank you all for tuning into the show. I'll do the socials now. If you want to get a hold of us on Twitter, you can get a hold of us at Two Guys Talking Toys. That's the number 2, no G after the talking. You want to get a hold of us on Gmail, same thing. Two Guys Talking Toys, the number 2, no G after the talking. Instagram's in the works. Might be messing around with Discord at some point in time or another. My nephews are way more technologically advanced than I am, so we'll keep you posted on that.
Because they're cyborgs.
They really are. I'm a little jealous. If you're enjoying the episode, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. The more interaction, the better for the show. If you're listening to this on any sort of listening platform, give us a review. Give us some stars. Give us all the stars.
Oh, the whole galaxy. All right.
Yeah,
I just grabbed it. I grabbed 2 handfuls, just a random. So I just went, and then I grabbed a couple of little play sets as well.
Mm-hmm.
I love Imaginext. So Imaginext, they're from Fisher Price, right?
Well, they're an offshoot of Mattel.
Yeah, and Fisher Price is Mattel, right?
Are they? I believe so.
Yeah. So they're Mattel under their Fisher Price umbrella, or the other way around. Fisher Price under
with the specific goal of creating toys aimed at the maybe like 5 or 6 and under kind of
the 49-year-olds.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. we fall just shy of the limit.
Yeah.
And notable for having both a simplified and yet really engaging, really fun play pattern for their toys. I am woefully underprepared. I do not know when they first popped up.
It's your topic. 98.
I know.
98.
Hey, here you go. You should be leading this. I remember taking notice when, specifically, I'm sure I had seen them before and just didn't take notice until my nephews were about 4 and 5, and we were looking for toys for them because they were starting to kind of mess around with stuff and they were getting a little bit more ambulatory. And I remember wanting to give them toys that I had, but they're still little. And being in Toys R Us and seeing in the kitty aisle the gigantic red T-Rex, and the way that it was built, it had like the thick construction for the legs and the tail to make it a triad. I'm sorry, a tripod, and the giant oversized mouth and the way it was constructed, it was a series of interlocking segments. So when you move the tail around, the head would also move, but it was large and it was chunky, and it would stay upright. So
yeah,
you could knock it over, but you had to try.
Then they made the skeleton version.
Oh, you know what? That's also like part playset, part
right. Yeah,
part
I have that out there. I just didn't feel like grabbing it because it's on the top shelf. But I have and then they made a blue one. The skeleton that was blue was very cool. The ice
one was great. And they made that T-Rex a couple of different colors. I remember him being, I think he popped up in green, maybe a couple of other colors. But
they had some cool dragons too. I want to say they first came out, and I think they had like like the Lego system. I think they were called like an Imaginext system or something. And I think their first endeavor was like knights and dragons and that kind of thing. But I remember the dragons were cool, and they had ogres. Yep. And they were very cool. They were very cool.
I like that they don't rely on one set body type. There are a lot you can stand side by side. They clearly they clearly have like a kind of a set buck for some of the more basic figures, but they're not afraid to make additional pieces to turn them into other things, which I'm really
Yeah. Here's a good example. Like we've got the Superman and Flash.
Yes.
And
so that's your standard.
The basic. Yeah.
But then 5 points for articulation and whatever stylization for the head. Yeah.
The Penguin, which is modeled more after me with this area here. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were heading towards you trained Rocky. You can catch this chicken, Rocco. You catch Grease Lightning.
You got to chase down a penguin. But then they also have the bigger guys like Swamp Thing. So Swamp Thing compared to their normal.
That's what impresses me. The fact that they're not limited by the size. Like they can blow them up, they can shrink them down. The scale, honestly, we had better scale with Imaginext than we had with Marvel Legends for a very long time.
Yeah, and they just like went, almost like Playmobil. Like they started with the dragons and the things like that. And I think Playmobil kind of had that same thing, right? And then they did that for a couple of years, and then it went to like, I want to say they did like rescue, like EMT police. I think they even did like a robot police force at some point, which sounds
pretty
cool. Yeah. So they did that whole thing with the deep sea rescue and whole 9 yards. Because I remember seeing a lot of that pop up in Toys R Us. Like I wasn't buying them at the time, but I was looking at them thinking they were cool. And I didn't really start buying things like you said. You're looking for your nephews, and then when Jared came into my life, that's when I started paying it, because he was really into the action figures just like me.
Yeah.
But I certainly wasn't going to give him mine. So we would go to Toys R Us when he was young. We would go, right here in Riverhead, we'd go Toys R Us before they closed, and Target, GameStop, Walmart, and then we'd get peanut butter cups. And that was it was usually like a Wednesday, middle of the week. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's nice.
We would go spend some time. We'd do that. And we'd go into Toys R Us and we'd go look at the Imaginext stuff. And, it was awesome. And that was right around the time they were making that shift, because they had and again, I'm not a historian about this, but this is just from observation. They had the Batman license, and then it moved and they did the Batcave and they were all awesome. And we've got the robot, the remote control Batman robot that then will scoot and then transform automatically into the Batmobile. And then stand back up and become a robot again. And he's got the voice. I mean, Imaginext did everything right. Everything.
Well, here's what I love about Imaginext. Whoever it is, whatever the team that kind of came up in Imaginext, like there's a point in time where the references to 80s franchises exploded. Because they had the DC stuff. And they were doing, a lot of like the generic, like you said, like the Knights and Dragons, whatever. And then I remember seeing a miniature version of Rotan appear in the line. And I was like, it's Rotan. Wait a minute. What's going on here? And it wasn't a Barbarians and Dragon Light. I don't remember who came with it, but it was unmistakably Rotan. I was like, who snuck this in? But then it kept happening. There is a Pharaoh set where it's a play on Mum-Ra's tomb, where you had, or like the guy goes into the mouth, you turn it, and something else comes out of the mummy.
It's out there. There.
It comes with I love the little like Pharaoh snake character is King Hiss. And I was like, this is amazing.
And then you know what else is amazing? When they moved on from the Batman line, their next superhero DC line was called Super Friends. It was called Super Friends, which is obviously a throwback to the late 70s, early 80s cartoon.
So I love that it's clearly a group of people who thoroughly enjoy what they do, and they have to be within our age range. Like, there's no other reason that there would be this many homages to different things. They are the first, if I'm remembering correctly, and I think I'm right on this, they are the first people to produce, I guess, a quote-unquote unofficial Battle Beast that was released to mass market retail. It was there was a series of blind packs that came out and I couldn't tell you who else was in the set, but I remember seeing it's a repainted, slightly tweaked version of one of the Snake character molds from that Pharaoh set, but it looks exactly like Snake Bomb from Battle Beast, or I'm sorry, or Triple Threat Snake if you want the US name.
Right.
But he's green. He's got the blue armor. It's unmistakably that's who it is.
Right.
And again, it blew my mind because who are these people who sat down and said, let's do this? And I don't know if maybe Bill got away with it and he just smiled and laughed and got away with it, or if he said, let's just make a Battle Beast, and they went and they did it.
They get so many great licenses. They really do, and they do so many. And not to play pun, but so many imaginative things with each one of them. Something and
they
well
live up to
done.
the name.
Yeah, let's look at this. The man bat, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a very good man bat. It's hefty, it's big, but it's got the shoulder joints, right? It goes up and down.
Yeah,
it's got the elbow joints.
That's really good.
And it also has flap action.
He flaps. That's great.
Yeah, all of that built in the same way. It was just really well designed.
Is that
really
a standalone? Is that a standalone figure?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
that is awesome.
They made the bigger ones. They made him.
Mm-hmm.
They made Grodd, and then they made the cool Clayface. Right.
I remember the Clayface. That is a fantastic figure.
This club hand comes off. It's been on there for years, so it's not going to come off. But like, it's a slip-on rubber piece that you just put on there, which is brilliant and easy for kids. But the best thing about him is that Clayface could eat people.
And I love that they made it's a slightly horrific gimmick, but also very, very fun.
Flash.
And I like that they still, even with that, they maintain this kitty, this slightly kitty design to him, where he's got the underbite with the silly teeth sticking out,
just like in the animated series.
Yeah, he's a little goofy, but it's still really well done. And then there's a re-release of him as like an ice monster. Yes, Ice Clayface, or ice or Frost Face, whatever you prefer to call him.
Yeah, he's hungry. He's gonna eat Superman. There we go. Gone. I love that you can still see him inside.
That I think is the best.
That's extra creepy. It's like the gelatinous cube.
I wonder if he'd fit in a gelatinous cube. It's got to be big enough to hold him.
Yeah, you know what? But the claw, he'd have to go in sideways for the claw.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. So
yeah, he'd have to go in sideways.
So how many how many Imaginext playsets have you picked up?
Oh my gosh. We have a bunch because there are a million of them. I think there's like 30 something just from the DC heroes alone. Yeah. And we've got a bunch because we would go to Savers. They're pretty expensive, some of these sets, and we'd go to Savers and they'd be sitting on the floor and they'd sell them for $3-4.
Yeah.
I would get them. All right, there he is.
Hey. Double frozen.
And he still has Superman in him. There we go.
The permafrost prison for Superman.
There it is. So I grabbed a couple of the things, and I wanted to show you this one because I think you're going to specifically like this one a lot. Like this
that is awesome. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, and it's got he would shoot discs out of his little mouth there.
That's so great. I love that the entire playset is just dragon coils.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's immense. And then it's got, the inside with the cave and all that. And one thing that Imaginext did really well and is so you could put guys sitting in there and move them with this little thing.
Yeah.
But they used figure operated action. So like
Oh yeah, because I remember they had
there's
the
this
circles with the holes for the feet.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. So he'd stand here and then you
Hmm.
turn him and you could have him actually fight the dragon
Yeah.
just by turning that.
Ah, it's so well done. It's so well
Yeah.
thought out. One of my favorites was there was a castle playset that also had a kind of a dragon woven through it, and it would reach out of the top.
That's the early stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Those. Yeah.
I don't think you could actually control it. And I think they made a later one where the color of the dragon was different. There's another set that is also really cool where it's more of a I guess more of an Asian flair to it, where it's this castle, but it looks like maybe something out of feudal Japan, and the
Oh, that does
building
sound
it.
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and the two of the windows, like it looks like it's almost like a three-story setup, and
Mhm.
the middle section has windows, but when you do the whole like figure action on one of the sidewalks, the windows turn into eyes that open up and look
Oh,
menacing.
that's cool.
It's really cool. And then the door on the bottom turns into a mouth, so now the entire castle looks like this possessed monster
Right.
that's going to eat whoever it is you throw in there. But I
I
love that that's something that they came up with and actually got it produced, and it came out.
Yeah, the creators who do like Imaginext, we've mentioned Imaginext before and just
Yeah.
how awesome they are. And I'll tell you what, it's hard not to for me to go collect Imaginext stuff even
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just released another huge Batman robot
Mhm.
and it's amazing. They've got so many cool things and deep characters that have the vintage looks. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they look
Yeah, they're
even their Two-Face has the 66 look with the orange and the
yeah, they're not
purple.
afraid to go back into the
Yeah.
classic styles. And I love, again, I love that they're interpreted into the Imaginext style. So you get a little bit of a simplified look, but that's clearly like the design they're going for. Like you can look at any of them and know
Yeah.
what era that character is pulled from, whether it be like the
Even
superpowers colored or something from like the Adam West style or
yeah.
something that's a little bit more modern. They do an amazing job with it.
And I love that Batman always has a little like side smirk. He's like, eh. You know, even then, remember just I don't know, a month ago that when Target put that clearance aisle together and that Imaginext and Dominic's and Dominus Rex was sitting there
Yes.
for like $12. It was so
Yep.
hard not to buy that thing. It was awesome.
It looks good. That
But
and
they
the same thing with the Giganosaur one that comes in the harness that holds it down.
yes.
Just that dinosaur by himself is such a good figure.
Yeah, they're absolutely amazing. I really do love the Imaginext stuff, all of it. The
Mhm.
pirates, the
Yep.
pirates are awesome. I mean, I love pirates anyway.
Mhm.
But the pirate set, and I've grabbed one of the pirate ships. Oy.
You were so much more prepared for this than I
Well, that's
was.
because I had them because I ran and grabbed them when you said that's what I ran out to grab. But this ship is awesome.
Oh, it
It's got
really
all the
is.
little ships and triggers. You know, I think there's some pieces missing, but like you can put them in the down in the galley. I don't know if that's the correct term,
I
but
wonder. I wonder
it's
if
got
anyone
the
has.
anchor that comes up with the turning the thing. So this guy here,
Ah, it's so awesome.
yeah,
I
these
wonder
are
if there are.
fantastic.
I wonder if there are customizers out there that try to take Imaginext sets and upgrade them just enough because the sets are amazing, and I would love to put like figures that we currently have in some of these play sets, but the style is just a little too different. So I wonder if there are people
Yeah,
out there that kind of mess around with that kind of thing, where they try and
I'm sure they do. I am sure they do. Like imagine that big, and I'm thinking about grabbing it. The big dinosaur with the
Mhm.
you do that with, you know, Skeletor or some of
Yes.
the you paint that up a little bit and put some of the Mythic Legends figures on there. Like
Yeah.
it would look horrific and awesome.
It kind of makes you wonder where the argument against play sets comes from when it comes to the more, I guess, like more adult oriented action figures. You know, you take something like a Super 7 to get a Cat's Lair, or
Right, right.
you know, like you're not gonna we're never going to see, I don't know, maybe we'll see a Blackbird one day for the X-Men, but I kind of doubt it. Like we're not going to see Four's Freedom Plaza.
No, 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 no.
And I know there are a lot of people who were screaming for like the Daily Bugle, and I don't think that's going to happen. But we is there a Daily Planet playset that
They did a
Imaginext has put
bunch.
together?
They did the Hall of Justice. They did
Mhm.
OA.
Yeah,
They did OA, which was cool.
yeah, like
Um, they did a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a Daily Planet, or at least it's part of something.
mhm.
You know, I was thinking the other day, like what lines, because they have, you know, they, like I said, they had the dragons and the knights. They did the
Yeah.
pirates. They did the like city rescue guys, right? They did Super Friends.
Mhm.
They did the Jurassic World stuff in a fantastic manner.
Mhm.
There are some lines. The other day, I was actually thinking when I was opening the Dungeons and Dragons guys, when I
Mhm.
was opening Strongheart and Zarag, I was thinking, man, Imaginext doing Dungeons and Dragons figures,
Oh, that would be really cool.
because Fortress of Fangs, much like this dragon
Yes.
one here, like
Mhm.
Fortress of Fangs would look so good
It's
in an
completely meant for that.
Imaginext style. Yeah, it would. I mean, it kind of looked like that, but
Yeah.
it was, you know, it was pretty big. But I mean, it wouldn't even have to be much smaller.
I
Um,
I
it
don't
would
doubt
look like that was made for the Imaginext style.
I don't doubt that Imaginext would give us a Tiamat yesterday.
Yes,
Like immediately, like everyone, like they'd get the assignment. They're like, guys, we have Dungeons and Dragons license, and they'd all just stampede to the
right.
to the
With
library to pull all the pictures.
with the resurgence of He-Man, I'm surprised they didn't bid for that, because
Oh,
that too would have been cool. A Castle Grayskull in that style, fantastic.
speaking of He-Man, one of my favorite figures that I've seen Imaginext do. It's just this little ankylosaurus. He's blue, and
Yes,
he's built like the Dragon Walker.
yes,
And he has you can pick you press the button and he spins around. And I was like,
yes.
I love this line so much. I love
The
it so much. It's so good.
the playability of these things, and they keep the playability
Mhm.
even with adding all of the moving parts and things like. For those who don't know, like that's not easy. Like that
It's
man
kind of
bat
a
is
lost art.
yeah, it's done so well. And these little guys, I'm sure, get looked at on the toy shelves as rinky dink little guys. But man, Imaginext is doing everything right. They haven't missed one single beat.
And I don't know what it is about the way they design and craft their figures. Where I put them so much higher above like a pop vinyl or a mini
Right.
mate, because mini mates are huge and everyone loves them. Kind of except me. I'm bitter about what they did to Battle Beast. But uh I mean, even that aside, the design process that the Imaginext figures go through, and again, like there's a certain base similarity among some of the smaller ones, but then they go beyond that, and even the smaller
Right.
ones, there's enough
They're very
difference.
well detailed. Like look
Yeah,
at Deathstroke's like
yeah,
armor.
it's actual sculpted detail. They made it a point to go in
Right.
from the boots to the chainmail on the
The
chest.
chainmail texture
It's
is fantastic. And the Swamp Thing details to everything
really
from the
good.
red eyes, that classic Swamp Thing,
Yeah.
ridge of the nose, root, whatever that is. But that's a
I,
lot of detail
yeah. I would love to
for
see. I would love to see them get the Marvel license, just to see what they could do. I mean, it unfortunately
well, there
will
are
not happen, but
Marvel. I forget who does the Marvel stuff
mhm.
that has that sort of
Very
superhero
similar.
squad. Yeah, they have the
Yeah,
superhero squad look. They're a little
mhm.
smaller. They're
Yeah,
not quite as you know, figure-esque, their pose, you know, but
yeah.
I mean they're cool, but they're not this.
No, no, they're not close, and it's kind of a shame because that you open this up to Spider Verse, and can
Oh
you just
my, yeah.
imagine all the, because they absolutely would have made all of those figures. If Pop Vinyl can get through and give us the Spider-Man from India and the Uncle
Mm,
Ben Spider-Man, Imaginext absolutely would have done that.
I mean, I have a couple of like mini mates right here.
Mhm.
Like this is one of the cooler mini mates, right?
Yeah, that they put a little more effort into Sauron.
But still, compared to this
Not even
guy,
close.
not even close. Not close. Because this is hold on. This is the regular like mini mate look.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
this is
the
Winter
stand-
Soldier.
kind
But,
of
like-
the standard buck.
Yeah,
Just
but
the
like you
big
wouldn't even
head.
know unless I said that's Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I had
You
no
would-
idea what it was.
Yeah, but boom,
And
you
it's-
know that's the Penguin, right?
Yep, absolutely. There's enough attention to detail and enough
Yeah.
changed on the. It's almost a whole new figure. They just happen to be within the same design parameters, so they could stick them all together and they look the same. It doesn't. Yeah, like it doesn't. I don't want to see cheap out, but they don't cheap out.
No, they don't. Every one of the figures is awesome. And you know, there are Brazilian Batman figures in that
Mhm.
Imaginext makes, and each one of them is different. They've done the 89, they've done the 66, they've done the ice and the lava and the blah blah blah. But all of them are cool. You know, they got the motorcycle one who's got the
Yeah.
yellow goggles on, and it's just cute. I like them. They're just
I like that Imaginext can kind of go there when the parent company either isn't ready to go full blown with an entire line, or they're just not ready to make that happen. But Imaginext can give us things like a Roton or Dino Riders, but they're not Dino Riders. They're just guys. These are just dinosaurs that just happen to have a little catapult attached to the side.
They're
not
riders
Dino
of
Riders.
dinosaurs. Yeah.
They just do that. And I'm like, they have their own in-house version of Leonard.
Yeah.
Who just don't care, and like, we're making this. There it is. Enjoy.
Yeah. They get Swamp Thing back in his spot over there. Can't have things not in their spot.
All right, so we're nearing the end. So I have
That sounds ominous.
this is enjoy. This will be the last moments that you ever get to experience.
I'm so glad you picked Imaginext. I'm so excited. You know, we've talked about him before. We were like, they're awesome, and then we didn't.
Popped up. It's always pleasant. I've never seen an Imaginext have been like the disappointed guy in the sports stand. It's always entertaining and fun, and you're like, oh, I should nope, stop it. I can't go down that rabbit hole.
They're so awesome though. It's so hard.
Yep.
I was so glad to buy them for Jared, and now that he's doing, you know, figures like the expensive ones, you know, a lot of anime stuff and blah blah blah. But I miss buying the Imaginext stuff, and you know what was good about it? There was so much of it. When like my parents were like, "What should I get Jared for Christmas?" and I could say, "Oh, he doesn't have this Imaginext yet.
Yeah,
I doesn't have this," because they were all over the place. They were just had so much stuff.
And like you said, once they're done, or you could go to someplace like Savers or a flea market or a garage sale. Like once my nephews were done playing with their Imaginext, there were sets that I wanted to keep, but I just didn't have the real estate for them, so they wound up selling them at a garage sale for like $5-10. And you can always find them. That
ship that I showed you, which isn't complete, but complete, is selling on places like eBay and other places for $45-50.
Yeah.
And you know, you can find it at flea markets and garage sales for just a couple. So
yeah. All right. So we're gonna have to bring this to a close. Thank you very much for joining us for another episode of Two Guys Talking Toys. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. I have given the socials already in the episodes. You'll just have to go back and watch. Take care, everybody.